Roger, what does his killing mean for the future of Al-Qaeda, and does it increase or decrease the risk of future attacks in your view?
Well, there's probably two aspects to this, same as Islamic State. These groups always have a succession plan in place because at some point, the Emir, as you've seen in the past, the West will catch up with the leadership, and you just expect their successor to take over as seamlessly as is possible. It'll take a few days, if not a couple of weeks, for that to become public, and so we'll have a better idea of, given the background and the experience of the new Emir, what that means for the future of Al-Qaeda. Perhaps what's even more striking in this instance was not so much who was killed, but where he was killed. So in downtown Kabul was probably not the place that most people thought that he would be killed. They were thinking more along the more isolated areas along the Afghan-Pakistan border, but certainly not in downtown Kabul.
Absolutely, Roger. And I wanted to follow on to that, if you will. Downtown Kabul, on a balcony. Does this signal to you that the Kabul that the West has left behind is just a safe haven for terrorists?
Well, it certainly gives you pause for thought, and certainly in the Doha Accords, there was an agreement between the US and the Taliban that essentially Afghanistan was a free fire zone against Islamic State's Afghan province. It was much more murky about Al-Qaeda. Taliban said that, of course, they would not give them safe haven, but whether the US could reach in and strike them, that was less clear. The fact that, as President Biden said, they had intelligence earlier this year that he was in a house in a relatively well-to-do part of Kabul, and over the past week, the president gave orders for him to be targeted. That raises a whole series of questions that people should ask and are asking about how did the leader of Al-Qaeda get permission to stay in that part of Kabul? It couldn't have happened without the knowledge of the Taliban. What's the nature of the relationship between the Taliban and Al-Qaeda now? Is it just safe haven for the leader, or is it something much more broader than that? So a whole range of questions come out of the location of where he was killed.